Alright, so 2 minutes on a tidbit for today. So we're in the middle of explaining the idea of why a person sometimes will have a hard time being able to let his godly soul express itself. That the light of the godly soul, the expression that it's having, is not really able to be felt, and he's having timtum alev, that his heart is not being felt and is covered over. Now, the Alter Rebbe says, what's the solution to that? Is you need to break the person, and we're in the middle of explaining what that means. And the Alter Rebbe says, when we understand the problem, we'll understand the solution. The problem is that the Kelipa within the person, the Sitra Achra which is in him, his animal soul, becomes very strong, he becomes very arrogant. And so when he's very arrogant, he lifts himself up on top of the godly soul, and he doesn't allow the godly soul to be able to express itself, because the animal soul is too great and too overpowering to allow the godly soul to express itself. And therefore, what's the way to fix that? How do you solve this problem? Is you have to lower down the animal soul. You have to lower down the Kelipa within the person. And therefore, when a person lowers it down and you crush it, that it should return to dust, that's where you're going to be able to allow your godly soul to be able to express itself. The Alter Rebbe clarifies that this doesn't just mean a little bit of the person needs to be crushed down, because by a Beinoni, when we're talking about a Beinoni, the godly soul is something which is in him. But who is he really? Meaning, when we talk about the person, who are we describing? We're usually describing his body, his animal soul, as we find that the person is mostly all about his animal soul, because what's he mostly about throughout his life? What's giving him energy? What's his source and his natural tendencies are all based on his animal soul and his natural way of life. And therefore, that's something which is very low. And he has a neshama, but it says neshama shenasata bi tahirahi, the neshama that you put into me. That means there's a me, my body, my animal soul, and God put a godly soul into that. So even though you have a godly soul within you, but it's not really who you are. You are your physical soul. And that's true about all Beinanim, where the main idea of them is about their idea of their animal soul. And this is not true by tzaddikim, where a tzaddik is the other way around. That who is he really? He's his godly soul. He's fully in touch and he's fully in tune, only with his godly soul. There's also a body around that that's called the Besar Adam. It's the meat, the physical part of the person. But who is he? He's his animal, his godly soul entirely. But that's about a tzaddik. When it comes to a Beinoni, who is he really? Is his animal soul. And therefore, when a person thinks about how low he is and how terrible the things that he did in the past were, and then through his broken heart, he's able to break the spirit of the Kelipa. Like it says, Leiv Nishbar, through a broken heart, when a person realizes that his Kelipa within him is very strong and how low that is and how terrible that is, and he breaks that spirit of Kelipa, then Ruach Nishbar, you can break the spirit of the Kelipa which is in you, and through that you're going to allow your godly soul to be able to fully express itself as it is meant to be done. That's the end of today's Tanya. See you next time.